All right, today we're jumping into a really provocative analysis of modern religion. And we're not just talking about a critique here. This is a powerful call for a total, radical reinvention. The argument is that our spiritual institutions are failing us, and that this failure has huge consequences for every single one of us.
Wow. I mean, let's just start right there. The argument kicks off with this absolutely shocking diagnosis of where we are as a society. They are not holding back at all. The core idea is that on a really fundamental level, we've been held back, kind of stuck in this survival mode, just reacting to things instead of actually shaping our world with real wisdom.
So you gotta ask, how did we end up here? Well, according to this analysis, it's not some accident or just a random moral decline. No, the finger is pointed directly at a massive, systemic failure within the very institutions that were supposed to lift us up, our religious and spiritual organizations. So yeah, let's dig into that.
So problem number one, it's all about focus, or, a lack of the right focus. For centuries, religious institutions have been busy collecting knowledge, memorizing texts, reciting prayers. It's like they've been obsessed with collecting books but forgot to actually understand what they mean. In all this studying, the whole point, achieving true understanding, just got lost in the shuffle. And this created this huge gap, right? You've got the leaders over here, focused on accumulating knowledge, and then you have the followers, who were just taught to go through the motions with rituals. They were told what to do, how to act, but the why, the part about how to actually think and grow for yourself, that was missing. So the rituals just became the whole point, instead of being a tool to get somewhere meaningful.
And here's a perfect example of what we're talking about. Take bowing. Okay, it starts with 3 bows. Simple enough. Then it becomes 7. Then 108. And before you know it, it's 3,000 bows. The number just keeps going up and up. But here's the real question. Did all that extra bowing make anyone wiser? The argument here is a hard no. It was just more ritual, completely disconnected from any real understanding.
Okay, so you can see how this one thing, focusing on rituals instead of wisdom, starts a chain reaction. And that leads us straight into the second huge issue. A massive mix-up about what spiritual leadership is even supposed to be about. Now, this next point is really key. The source draws a super clear line in the sand. On one side, you have genuine enlightenment. In Korean, that's gedarim. This comes from hard work, deep study, really knowing yourself. But on the other side, you have something that looks a lot like enlightenment but really isn't. Supernatural powers, or dosul. The source says this is more like a skill you get, maybe through some spiritual contact. You can do things like heal people, but that doesn't automatically make you a true, wise teacher. And this is where the critique gets really intense. Using these special powers to just put a Band-Aid on people's problems, the source calls that a total failure. I mean, the claim is that for someone with that skill, healing a person is incredibly easy, but it's a cop-out. The real work, the hard work, isn't just fixing the symptom. It's about teaching someone the cause of their suffering so they can actually grow and not end up in the same spot over and over again. So let's connect the dots here. What happens when our spiritual institutions are more focused on rituals and quick fixes than on real deep teaching? Well, according to this analysis, you get exactly what we started with, this idea of an animalistic society.
And it's a pretty bleak picture, isn't it? A state where we're just trying to survive, just get enough to eat. We're suffering, but we have no clue why. This leads to people acting without any real dignity, just begging anyone to solve their problems for them. The core idea is that without the right kind of guidance, we don't evolve into what the source calls true humans. We actually go backward.
Okay, so after all that doom and gloom, you might think there's no way out. But there is a path forward. And it's not about small tweaks or going back to basics. Nope. The prescription here is for something huge, radical, game-changing innovation.
The argument is basically this. Religious groups need to hit the brakes, hard. Stop what they're doing now and find a totally new way to operate, a new paradigm. Because the old model of just collecting followers and performing rituals, it's broken, it's obsolete, it's time for a complete overhaul. But here's the thing, and this is so important. They're not starting from scratch. Think about it. These organizations are sitting on a goldmine of potential. They have incredible structures, massive amounts of money, legions of dedicated people, and decades, even centuries of public trust. All this power, built with the public support, is just sitting there, not being used to its full potential.
So that brings us to the grand finale, the big vision. What if? What if they actually tapped into all that power? What could happen then? This is what the source calls religion's second leap. And I mean, listen to this claim. It's massive. The idea is that these groups hold the power to raise up not just people, but entire nations, that they could be the single most powerful force for good on the planet, if they're willing to completely pivot their mission. And this slide just lays it out perfectly. It's a complete 180-degree turn. Instead of just collecting money from followers, what if they created entire new economies? Instead of just consuming society's resources, what if they contributed real, tangible value back? And the biggest one, instead of being all about serving the organization itself, what if their entire focus was turned outward to solve humanity's biggest problems? Just imagine that for a second. These reimagined organizations wouldn't just be talking, they'd be doing, creating real-world solutions, new ideas, amazing content, stuff so good, so valuable, that people from all over the world would flock to them, not to pray, but to learn. And that right there is how religion could fulfill its true purpose, not by preaching from a pulpit, but by doing the hard work that actually lays the foundation for world peace. And so that's where we land, with a really challenging question. I mean, sure, this whole analysis was focused on religion, but you could apply this to any powerful institution, couldn't you? A giant corporation, a government, any group with massive resources. Are they just using all that power to keep themselves going, or are they truly using it to lift all of us up? It's definitely something to chew on. Thanks for joining me.